Important for you to produce more with the Sean trade or
Yeah, I mean, you obviously always want to produce more, and getting more opportunities, you know, get more touches, get more confidence out there, and my game's not built around getting all these points, but you do want to help produce, and you're playing with some guys that obviously want to produce more too. So getting more touches is helping with the confidence.
is it especially important at this step of your career? I mean, next year is your last contract year, and all little action matters probably.
Yeah, every game matters, and when you get more opportunities, it's time to show what you can do and prove that you can be on a good team and a winning team and be a big part of it.
What do you enjoy the most about the way your team keeps the composure against tough opponents in the past few weeks?
Yeah, it's a lot of growth. Last year there was some games where we're playing against some top teams and doing well, but I remember last year we played Carolina the exact same time and just got completely smoked. Shots were like 50-10. And then you look this year, I think 5-on-5, we were right there with them, or even maybe a bit better. And so there's obviously big signs of growth here, and this team's gaining a lot of confidence, and hopefully next year when we start the year, we know we can go against top teams and beat them.
How different penalty killing? Do you think that that's affected the confidence of the team?
Well, obviously, I think it's a huge momentum swing in games when you're down against some top power plays, and you can shut them down and then get your top guys back out there with a little bit more momentum. And I feel like we've been doing pretty good with that. Last game was a bit of a tough bounce, I would say, if anything. And but besides that, I feel like we've been helping gain some momentum for the team. And once we get back to 5-on-5 or we get our own power plays, it's a good opportunity.
How different is going to be the challenge tomorrow against the Panthers? Seems that this is really the only sandpaper team in the East. Am I right?
Yeah, I think every team's got some, and they've got a lot of it. They play the right way, they play the hard way, and again, it's one of those teams that last year we were pretty sure we were getting smoked by them too. So it's a good test for us to see where we stand and to show that we're getting there.
Just talk about the way you produce more since the Sean Monahan trade, but you also have a big role on the PK. We always talk about who's your role model in the NHL, but here in this locker room you have a guy, Nick Suzuki, who produce and play good defensively. How much is a big example to follow for you?
Yeah, when you're one of your best forwards is doing all the little things right, blocking shots, playing smart. It gets everyone to follow him, and I've said it before, he's a guy that leads by example, and when you got one of your best players doing that kind of stuff, you're all going to follow him.
Thank you.
don't think I'll go to the actual draft.
No, you're good. I'm good.
Really busy. Oh yeah. We got NHL finals.
Well, the game against Philadelphia, what caused that? What prompted that?
It's just trying to protect a teammate, and was just like a heat of the moment thing. And looking back at it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. And obviously don't want to get suspended, and just can't do anything from the bench. And message was pretty clear with the league about that. And Slash wasn't good either, but I think most of it was just from the bench. And live and you learn my lesson. So be excited to get back in the lineup, hopefully. So.
Was it hard to defend yourself when you were talking with Barrow to the league?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously nothing really to defend. I mean, what I told him was just wasn't trying to injure him, or wasn't an intent to injure thing. It was more just trying to steer him away from a teammate, and that was really all I could say. Nothing really to defend yourself about that, something like that. So basically, it was just saying that there was no intent to injure there, and it was just a heat of the moment thing. So
Was it related to what happened with Slav a few seconds earlier?
Yeah, that's basically what it was. He hit me earlier before that. Didn't really have anything to do with that. I mean, his hit on me was clean, and had nothing really to do with that. It was more just youngest guy on our team, first overall pick. Just felt like just wanted to leave him alone. So that was really all it was. Yeah.
They
Is
accused.
it a stressful moment, not knowing if you're going to be suspended, dealing with this kind of process?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously new to me. I don't think I've been suspended really in my life. Maybe a long time back ago in minor hockey, but haven't been in the last 10 years. So it was definitely a new process, and a lot of phone calls that day, and just kind of a lot of waiting around and waiting to see what was going to happen. And so it was different for sure. Yeah.
Did you prepare some argument or before the process?
Yeah, I mean, again, there wasn't really much of an argument there. It was more just letting them know that I wasn't actually trying to injure him. I didn't want to take him out the game, take him out the play or anything. It was more just like a get out of here, leave him alone type of
Do
thing.
you think you dodged a bullet getting only the one game?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's not really up to me to decide that. It's more up to them. So I'll take. I mean, obviously, you never don't want to miss any games, but one game seemed good to them. So yeah.
At the same time, what does it say about the team? Obviously, you want it to happen on the ice and not on the bench, but what does it say about the team sticking up for each other, this group building something together?
Yeah, no, I think that game just in general, there was a lot of passion, and it got a little chippy there, and everyone was standing up for each other, taking care of each other. So, I mean, that's a huge plus from that game, and I mean, we know coming in with their style of play and the type of team they have that they're going to play like that, and it's huge for our group when you see us respond like that. Obviously, not in the way that I did, but in other ways, we were standing up for each other in scrums, finishing hits, doing whatever we could to kind of stick together. So that was huge to see for sure.
To what extent we see Slavkovsky has that in him, the attitude of not being, intimidated or whatever. But when you add Kirby Doc to the element next season, how much is that going to be important when you face tough opponents?
Yeah, no, it'll be huge. I mean, we've got a lot of big players. I mean, obviously Slav can stand up for himself, and he's a big boy, and he can hold his own. Same with Kirby. Both those guys. Slav, I think he's up there for our team in hits. Like he's finishing, he's using his body. Kirby, same thing. Like he's a big guy. He's not afraid to get in the dirty areas, finish hits, get in front of the net, scrum it up a little bit. So you have guys like that on your team, and they're your best players too. It's pretty important to have that for any team that wants to win and wants to kind of take your team to the next step. So
It's important to have a good mix, but could you become a good physical team in the future?
I think so. Yeah, I think we can. I mean, again, that what I've learned is physicality kind of gets maybe not brought into your game, but you're a young guy and there's men out there, for me especially, I notice that you want to be physical, but there's times when it's tough to be at certain points when you're going against men, and you could try and hit some guy and he rolls right off you or bounces right off you, and you're on the wrong side of him. So sometimes you have to be a little bit more conservative with when you're going to finish hits and lay the body, but once you mature, and I mean, even for Slav this year, you see how he's using his body compared to last year, and that's all going to come, and we'll figure that out for sure.
But when you play in the Western Hockey League, I dare say you better be physical or you're going to get eaten up.
I mean, of course. I mean, you got to be physical. That's a big part of the game, and again, in junior and in the dub, there was probably times where you could kind of run around a little bit and get away with it, but here you can't do that. You got to definitely be more calculated with when you're going to do that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, definitely still something that I like to have in my game and part of my game.
It gives me like this slip.
This one in particular this year, like, is it one you'll look back on as potentially one that you want to throw away, or one that you want to look at and say this could be the turning point for me to come back next year and fire it up and look back on it and say this was a tough year but I got through it?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good point. I think lately down the stretch, I think that we're playing some really good hockey team-wise. Obviously we've had a fairly tough schedule the second half of the year, but we're in every single game. Obviously for the first time we won 3 in a row, and then coming back playing Carolina, a tough team. I thought we played really well 5-on-5, and then obviously we got a tough stretch down the road. So it's good competition, but I think we're looking forward to it.
I've heard a lot from different players about how they're treating the last games of the year, how they're important for their development. What can these last number of games do for you on the personal front?
Yeah, I think they're really important, for individually and for our team. I think that for me personally, I just gotta keep doing the right things, get back to my game using speed, physicality, and trying to shoot as many pucks as I can. Keep it simple, and for as a team game, we just want to keep taking it one game at a time and compete and try to get as many points as we can.
It's the main focus of attention, and collectively, you would say, we're saying that compete level is important, but is there an focus, especially?
Yeah, absolutely. I think these next 9 games are going to be a real good test for our team, and a few games in there. Teams are trying to fight to get in the playoffs, and those are meaningful games for us. When you go up against teams that are already in the playoffs, and you try to compare yourself, it's going to be a good test for us for sure. And then towards down the stretch when we play Philly and Detroit, those guys are battling to get in. So it's going to be fun to play those games.
Josh, what do you like about the way the team is building collectively and shows the right attitude to be right up there with top opponents coming for next season also?
Yeah, I think we're all buying in, to the system. All 4 lines are going Obviously both our goaltenders are giving us a chance every night, and our defense are playing great too. But I think we're just paying attention to detail, we're really focused going into games, and obviously we've had much better starts.
On the physical game of this team, Josh, do you think that you could have a big influence for this team, the way that you can play on the ice?
Yeah, I think so. I think bringing that early into a game and trying to get guys to rally behind it and bring that physical presence, it not only helps our team, but helps me get into the game that way. So just try to be consistent in that department.
Test de son, est-ce que tout le monde m'entend bien à la caméra?
Va? Combien de temps? Vous avez une très grosse semaine à venir encore. C'est un peu comme c'était la semaine passée, mais vos adversaires vont être un peu différents. Commencer par demain, Martin. Puis les Panthers sont impliqués vraiment dans des matchs émotionnels puis très physiques récemment. Je n'ai pas vu tout leur rythme, mais il y a beaucoup d'highlights qui nous montrent des mêlées après les sifflets et tout. Est-ce que c'est un élément dans lequel tu considères que ton équipe a potentiellement les moyens d'être confortable, de jouer sa game, même dans des matchs comme ça?
Oui, on a. Comment t'appelles ça, après les sifflets? Là?
Les mêlées.
Les mêlées, oui. Je pense que les mêlées, ça ne me dérange pas. Je pense qu'on est capable d'être démêlés. Ça fait partie de la game. Tu sais, fait que c'est sûr, c'est une équipe, la Floride, qui joue avec beaucoup d'émotions, comme tu dis, les mêlées, mais ça nous force à faire la même chose. Fait que faut que tu t'attendes à ça. Puis, mais la game, elle va être beaucoup plus jouée entre les sifflets que dans les mêlées, mais les mêlées font partie de ça.
Tantôt, dans une petite converse qu'on a eue avec Kaiden Guhle, il y avait un élément qui est ressorti. Lui, il disait on a une couple de gars costauds. Quand même, quand ton équipe va être au complet, là, on regarde, ce n'est pas la plus petite équipe de la Ligue. Est-ce que ce potentiel-là de pouvoir être une bonne équipe avec la rondelle, mais en même temps, une équipe qui est capable d'être, je mets le mot entre guillemets, robuste et physique, c'est un complément intéressant que vous pouvez bâtir?
Moi, je pense que ça prend de la robustesse. Quand tu bâtis une équipe, tu essaies d'avoir tous les éléments. Puis ça part beaucoup avec le courage. Mais c'est notre game collective, notre intelligence sur la glace, de ne pas se faire embarquer avec trop les émotions, puis perdre la tête, puis prendre des punitions niaiseuses. C'est d'être. Faut avoir une discipline, mais il faut t'amener de la robustesse. Puis qu'est-ce qu'on est après bâtir? Je sais qu'on va en avoir de la robustesse. Ça prend ça.
Patrick et Jean-François.
Salut Martin. Pour enchaîner un peu à ce sujet-là, on sait qu'un joueur comme Kirby Dach a beaucoup l'attitude, en anglais on dit FU attitude dans son jeu, là, puis Slavkovski semble démontrer un peu de ça. Puis quand tu vois Kaiden Guhle qui agit, oui évidemment on voudrait que ça soit bien dosé sur la glace, là, mais quand tu vois l'unité, à quel point ça c'est des éléments qui font partie de construire l'équipe qui vont faire en sorte que vous ne serez pas intimidé l'année prochaine.
Oui, il faut que tu aies une robustesse d'équipe, une identité qu'on ne joue pas avec des gants blancs, là. Fait que, on en parle de ça. Puis, c'est ça. On a des joueurs qui c'est plus facile pour eux autres. C'est leur ADN un petit peu. Mais il faut que ça soit contagieux. Puis, je pense que nos plus petits joueurs, je pense qu'ils jouent avec beaucoup de courage. Puis, ils jouent pas avec des gants blancs. Fait que ça prend une identité comme équipe faut que ça fasse partie de notre ADN. C'est une game qui est supposée être jouée physique, avec de l'énergie. C'est dur à faire ça. Si tu veux une game facile, tout le temps, c'est périmètre, puis jouer avec des gants blancs, puis je pense que c'est pas ça qu'on bâtit.
Jean-François. Martin, juste pour poursuivre sur Kaiden, tantôt en lui parlant, il ne cherchait pas d'excuses. Il disait que c'était de sa faute, la suspension. Il va faire attention à doser justement ses émotions. Rendre ça dans la catégorie de l'expérience pour un jeune joueur.
Ben oui. L'expérience. C'est un slash qui coûte cher. L'apprentissage.
Salut Martin.
Bonjour.
On avait pu comprendre que la saison de Vorek était terminée. Là. Il est là, puis il a l'air de prendre vraiment du mieux, ce qui a peut-être des chances de...
Oui, il est jour à jour. Là, ouais. Il est jour à jour. Des bonnes chances qu'on le voit d'ici à la fin de l'année.
Cette année, en fait, si on a vu les 3 dernières saisons, il va y avoir 10 marqueurs de 50 buts dans la Ligue nationale, des marqueurs différents. Nous allons en apporter un demain et un autre samedi, évidemment. Si on considère qu'avant la pandémie, là, je pense qu'il y en a eu 3 dans les 10 années précédentes, qu'est-ce qui fait qu'à une époque où on parle de travail des gardiens, soudainement, tu as des joueurs qui marquent beaucoup?
Moi, je pense que c'est l'évolution individuelle, le talent individuel. Il y a beaucoup plus de profondeur côté talent puis de superstar, si tu veux. La game est beaucoup plus offensive. Les power plays sont meilleurs. C'est une combinaison de bien des affaires. Mais c'est tout du positif pour le entertainment. Oui, la valeur du spectacle. Je pense que les fans, ça ne leur dérange pas de voir des games de temps en temps, 2-1, tout ça, avec des grosses performances de gardiens. Là, ça ne leur dérange pas ça, mais je pense que c'est côté spectacle, je pense que c'est important qu'il y ait des buts. Mais c'est un peu... je ne dirais pas c'est une chose, mais c'est une combinaison de bien des affaires. Puis ça part avec le talent des joueurs.
Ben, c'est ce que j'allais te dire. C'est sûr, on voit beaucoup les jeunes, les réseaux sociaux, ça travaille les habiletés individuelles, puis ils arrivent probablement dans la ligue, ils sont déjà comme très, très habiles. Est-ce que ça joue aussi dans l'équation? Est-ce qu'ils ont rattrapé, dans le fond, les gardiens qui autrefois...
Oui, tu sais, c'est sûr, on est tous connectés comme monde, là. Si quelqu'un fait quelque chose dans un autre pays, bien loin, mais tu peux le voir. Nous autres, on regardait, tu le vois dans ta rue, là, qu'est-ce que le gars faisait. Fait que, puis tu sais, les jeunes aujourd'hui, je te dirais, ils regardent beaucoup plus les highlights qu'une game. Puis c'est pas tout du positif, ça. T'sais. Parce que quand ils arrivent au haut niveau, il faut quasiment qu'ils apprennent à jouer la game parce qu'ils ont juste regardé les highlights toute leur vie.
Eric, Arpen, Stu. Watching Josh Anderson lately, you could see the intentions are there.
Mm-hmm.
Still skating hard, still trying to be physical. But how do you view where he's at from a confidence perspective, and how do you evaluate his game based on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the effort is there. I think the intentions are there. It could be a hard year for him, right? Like, I think he expects more. I think he was snake bitten for a while. I felt he was coming. The injury happened. Come back. It just seemed like he's been like, kind of chasing the season a little bit, and it can be hard mentally on a player. For him, it's just trying to find some confidence down the stretch here. Feel good about himself going into the summer. But we know that it's probably because we know Josh can score goals in this league, and he's been proven to be a 20-goal scorer. It's just it's this year most likely going to be a one-off. Because there's a lot in that player. I just think he found himself chasing the season a little bit, and the injury happened not at the right time. And we know what he can bring. He hasn't forgot how to score goals and stuff. Sometimes it's just the game gets hard a little bit, and it's hard to come out of it. But he hasn't. We know there's more in there, and he'll get that back.
It's critical that he does for himself, for your team also. He can play an important role for you guys. So how do you, I know you've worked a lot with him, how can you help him do that, and how can he help himself do that he comes back and this year's behind him?
Well, I think everything starts with the player, what he does this summer, and actually having a chance to reflect when the season's over, and also us as a staff too, with him. I think you when the season's over, you go through each and every player, and you look at where he needs to get better at, and you kind of try to have a plan with him and show him example or whatnot, and so there's still room for growth there, but to me it's the answers are everywhere, and it's trying to find the answers for him and trying to work on it and go apply it, but it all starts with the player, and we'll support him and try to get him in a good place.
I also can't get my kid to watch a whole game. He just watches highlights. It's very annoying.
I
find it very annoying.
Same for me.
Yeah. With Florida coming in, Barcott's coming in, and I'm just wondering if you have a sense of, or what the Selke Trophy means to you. What type of player should win the Selke Trophy as far as you're concerned?
Well, definitely a 200-foot player. A guy that plays against top guys all the time. A guy that has a great 5-on-5 production. Good on draws. Usually will kill penalties, right? Most likely. To me, it's those criteria. Guy was on the ice and to protect the lead when the goalie's pulled. There's.
I don't know if there's guys that over the course of your career that you saw this from, but when you hit a certain age and you can't necessarily do what you were doing when you were in your 20s, and say you get into your 30s and you reinvent yourself as a different kind of player. Like I think of Gallagher, who kind of identified himself as a 30-goal guy. He's not, well, maybe he will be one day, but likely he's had to find other areas where he can continue to contribute. What is that process like, or how have you seen that process play out for guys who have to kind of flip a switch at one point in their career and become something they're not used to being?
Well, I think it's usually high intelligent level, not necessarily like high IQ on the ice. It's just understanding the guys coming in. They might be doing certain things better than you. You might have to adjust your role just to keep a chair. So you have to have some good awareness, but also sometimes it's accepting that. Some guys won't accept that, and they probably lose their value a little bit, because I think there's plenty of ways to help the team. And I look at a guy like Jason Spezza, for example, right, who finished his career as a fourth-line guy. And, he knew that his role had changed, and his game has to change with that role. He wasn't getting the first PP touches and the ice time that he was used to, but he found a way to have an impact later in his career. It's not always easy to accept, but if you accept it, I think you can extend your career and play a very important role in terms of leadership, and which to me it's the best part about leadership is being able to pass it down. And I think those guys that extend their career, they probably adjust their role a little bit, and they're able to pass down that leadership because they're around. And you don't have enough of those guys. You don't have enough of those guys that I feel it's a young league now, and having these older guys in the dressing room to pass down the leadership and show the way is so important. So, every players go through that, and some guys accept it more than others.
Marty, Jake Evans seems to have really picked up his game, especially since Sean Monahan leaving. What do you like most about what Jake's doing now, and maybe the impact that Sean leaving might have had on that?
Well, I like most about Jake, obviously, is I think he's a big part of why our PK has done really well here in the last little while. He's been great on draws. He's been one of our best killer, him and Army. But also, I feel like he got a lot more ice time. He got a bigger role. He got more offensive touches, and his touches have been pretty good. Like he's playing well on both sides of the puck. But I think what I like the most about Jake, to me, it's what he's done to help our PK improve so much in a short amount of time.
You're getting an extended look now at Alex Newhook at center. How does that help you as this rebuild goes forward, as you sort of, I know a lot can change over the offseason, but as far as where he could be slotted?
I don't see it like, I don't think him playing at center shows me where he's going to be slotted. I just think, he's playing a big role right now. He's on the first PP. He's getting some good minutes, and he's playing really well. We don't really know what, Newey's ceiling is, But, he's still very young. But what we've seen this year in terms of progression and stuff and the impact he can have on games, he's using his speed very well. It's very encouraging, So I think he's a guy that he's part of, of a core young guys that we're going to try to build with.
Salut Martin. On connaît l'importance de Jake sur le plan défensif, mais depuis l'échange de Monahan, justement, il est aussi ton 5e meilleur attaquant en termes de points amassés. Il disait justement ce matin qu'il servait de chaque match pour démontrer qu'il pouvait avoir ultimement un rôle important quand l'équipe allait être à son top niveau. Est-ce que tu as cette impression-là, justement, que quand l'équipe va être vraiment à son apogée?
I mean, I always felt like there was more. Excuse. J'ai toujours. Non, mais c'est parce que j'étais en anglais, le gars, tu rebondis en français. Non, mais j'ai toujours pensé qu'il y avait plus d'offensive qu'il nous montrait. Mais il y avait peut-être pas la même opportunité qu'il y a là présentement, là, d'avoir plus de minutes. Fait que, son rôle il a augmenté un petit peu, puis sa production a augmenté avec. Fait que c'est une bonne chose de voir. Puis, comme je dis toujours, il y a des choses qui se passent durant la saison, puis les joueurs ils ont une opportunité, puis je trouve qu'il fait très bien que c'est l'opportunité qu'il y a là. Puis ça rend notre équipe meilleure avec ces répétitions-là qu'il y a présentement, les minutes qu'il joue. Puis non, je suis content pour lui.
Merci.
OK, merci. Non.